People in the Fever were like, y'all.
That's not my point. There's a lot of other shit going on that players are like, this ain't where I want to be.
Over there.
Yeah.
Yeah. Some new shit going on around there.
It's a lot. So you have players that are very significant on this Indiana Fever team that are like, I don't
want to be here.
Nobody wants to come to Indiana. Remember when Sheryl Swoopes said that? Well, Kelsey Mitchell just set the record straight. In her first interview since training camp began, Mitchell didn't hold back, delivering a truth bomb that made Swoopes' comments look out of touch.
For us, with the new atmosphere, new coaching, everything is just absolutely new. It feels really good. It feels fresh. It's kind of like when you take your clothes out the dryer, kind of like fresh. It feels different, and it feels good because we have new leadership, we got new players, we got vet leadership, and so I think all that combined just makes for a good atmosphere right now.
This interview blows the lid off everything Sheryl Swoopes got wrong about the Indiana Fever. From suggesting veterans don't want to play there, to implying Kelsey Mitchell was unhappy, and even downplaying the impact of Caitlin Clark. The reality couldn't be more different. The footage speaks for itself. Watch as Mitchell, Clark, and Coach Christie sides dismantle every false narrative Swoopes tried to push. If you stand with the Fever, drop a fired up for the Fever in the comments. Ready? Let's get into it.
This time last year, it didn't feel good. So we had to get that in order first, for people to start playing well. It's like a domino effect. But I think once your culture is kind of established, how you guys see it now, I think it makes everything else way easier. I don't know if that makes sense.
Let's set the record straight on Kelsey Mitchell and the Indiana Fever. When Sheryl Swoopes went on the Queens of the Court podcast, she claimed Mitchell was unhappy and unappreciated in Indiana, painting a picture of a fractured locker room that veterans wanted nothing to do with. But Mitchell's recent interview, it tells a completely different story. One filled with excitement, chemistry, and real optimism about the Fever's future.
Personally, here's where I think they didn't do a very good job, and that was with Kelsey Mitchell, who's an unrestricted free agent, because Kelsey Mitchell had a hell of a season this season, and I don't think she got the credit that she deserved.
The first thing you notice when Kelsey Mitchell speaks is her energy, unmistakable and infectious. There's a light in her eyes and a genuine smile that you just can't fake. When asked about the upcoming season, she doesn't give canned answers or safe diplomatic lines. She leans in, fully engaged, and you can feel the excitement radiating through the screen.
I think the best part right now is everyone wants to be here. It's really downplayed. It sounds cliche, but it's nothing like being where you want it and everybody feels value in order to go have a good training camp, have a good preseason, so you can have a good first game when the season starts. But I think right now, it's just that good feeling of everybody feel like, hey, I want to be here and I want to compete. So I think that's the first step.
I think the best part right now is everyone wants to be here, Mitchell says with conviction, a direct contradiction to Swoopes' narrative of discontent. And this isn't some polished PR line. You can hear the sincerity in her voice. Mitchell goes on to describe how that shared commitment fuels a culture where players push each other every single day. That's not someone who feels undervalued. That's a leader bought into the mission and staying put.
What's it been like adjusting to Stephanie White and I guess that culture you're talking about?
Oh man, I have nothing but great things to say about Stephanie. From the time I was in China playing and her trying to get me back here, and the leadership that she took to make sure I felt welcome and felt safe coming back and playing under her. She's done an unbelievable job with all of us one by one and making sure we all feel different but in a good way.
What's especially revealing is Mitchell's focus on the team's fresh start. She speaks glowingly about the new atmosphere taking shape, giving credit to the leadership changes that have breathed new life into the organization. You can hear the excitement peak in her voice when she talks about the shift toward a more positive, forward-looking culture. It's clear this is a new chapter for the Fever, and Mitchell is all in.
And I think once you establish the respect in the room, the environment is always is value with that. I think those days that are tough that you do have to give grace for, it's respect behind it. We don't expect perfection right now, but we do expect discipline and we expect hard work. So if we could cultivate that and then give ourselves some grace when it's time to go win games, I think we will.
When the conversation shifts to the veterans joining the Fever, names like DeWanna Bonner and Natasha Howard, Mitchell's face lights up. She speaks with admiration about how these seasoned pros bring a championship mindset and invaluable perspective to every practice. Having veterans who choose to come here and share their knowledge changes everything, she explains, completely undercutting Swoopes' claim that established players are steering clear of Indiana.
Yeah, I think that your DBs, your Sophies, and even like Sid, it's like a wild card because they won and they know it on different levels. You got to think Sid Colson was maybe started on the bench but had to go get minutes, and she won a championship. And then it was the same with Natasha Howard, it's the same with DB. So we get a different leadership of vets that came. It's going to teach us how to win, so it's pretty fun.
Just watch Mitchell's body language throughout the interview. Does she look like someone who feels unappreciated? Quite the opposite. As she talks about her teammates, she gestures with enthusiasm, frequently breaking into spontaneous smiles. There's a clear sense of comfort and confidence in her presence, a silent but powerful testament to how she truly feels about being part of this team.
So leadership that we have from your DBs, so Tosh Howard and Sid, it's going to help ease things out based on the people that's coming around to see us. But I also think that it do helps us. Let me say this. Before we got here a month ago, we were all coming in. We would come from our respective homes to establish that already. So I think that 5, we've established that like 2 or 3 weeks ago. It might have been open run, it might have just working out, but we've already kickstarted how we want to play and here so we can do it here.
Mitchell's take on building a winning culture is especially insightful. She makes it clear, success isn't just about stacking talent. It's about creating real chemistry that shows up on the court. We're learning to play together, to understand each other's strengths, she explains. That's how you build something sustainable. Those aren't the words of a disgruntled player. They're the reflections of someone deeply invested in the long-term success of the Indiana Fever.
You respect your teammates and respect as competitors. It makes for a better relationship. It makes for a better dynamic. And I think that me and C-Square established that 2 years ago now. So I think everything with us is going to always be kosher and really put together because we've already established who we were as people and as players and how we can help make each other better. So it feels good to me already.
Perhaps the most damaging blow to Swoopes' narrative is the simple fact that Mitchell actively chose to return to the Fever. Actions speak louder than third-party speculation, and Mitchell's decision to continue her career in Indiana says everything. When asked about playing alongside Caitlin Clark, Mitchell doesn't express any of the resentment or tension Swoopes suggested. Instead, she highlights their complementary skills and mutual respect, explaining how their different playing styles create opportunities for everyone on the court.
Their strength, for one, is always, from a physical standpoint, her strength and her ability to now make plays that people don't think about. Whether it's that skip to skip, I mean, you know, a person of her caliber, it seems small, but it's going to make her go from having 25 to having 28 or 10 assists to 12 assists. So, for one, her strength, and then after that, professional, learning, you know, watching film, you know, knowing what you need, and I think that's going to take time for her specifically, but the rest is for her is already in the bag. I think strength is always going to be a main thing.
Mitchell's genuine enthusiasm for the team's future becomes most clear when she talks about their collective goals. We're building something special here, she says with unwavering conviction. I want to be part of that. The passion in her voice when discussing the Fever's prospects completely shuts down any suggestion that she feels marginalized or dissatisfied. Something special is indeed brewing in Indiana. Caitlin Clark, for her part, is tackling it with a mindset that's ready to silence any critics. While Sheryl Swoopes confidently predicted that Clark would struggle to adjust to the pro game, Clark's own words reveal a rookie who knows exactly what it takes to succeed at the highest level.
WNBA MVPs in your career, would you consider each of those 3 seasons as dominant seasons for yourself?
No.
I can't. Bro, Sheryl Swoopes is willing to lie about her own career before she even admits that Caitlin is dominant.
When asked about her first WNBA season, Caitlin Clark immediately pointed to an area many rookies tend to overlook: physical development. The strength training aspect has been my biggest adjustment, Clark explained, her voice filled with determination rather than frustration. These women are just stronger. They've been professionals for years. That's where I've had to grow the most. This matter-of-fact assessment shows that Clark isn't expecting to dominate simply because of her college success. Instead, she's recognizing specific areas for growth and tackling them head-on with a methodical approach.
Yeah, I mean, that was like my biggest focus in the off-season, is just trying to get stronger and really working on that. And really thankful for Sarah, our strength and conditioning coach, like put in a lot of time with me, and we were in here consistently. Like, I think that was the biggest thing for myself, is just having that consistency to be able to work on it for 6 months or whatever it was. So I certainly feel a lot stronger, and I'm a pretty self-aware person. I knew that was going to be a huge part of it, and it's going to help me offensively, it's going to help me defensively, it's going to help me not get as tired throughout games. So yeah, definitely one of the focus points of my off season is just getting stronger, and even through these 2 practices, like I can certainly.
Clark's pragmatic approach goes beyond just physical training. Rather than dwelling on the challenges of transitioning to the pro game, she frames it as an exciting evolution. You're learning a new offense, new teammates, new coaches. It's like starting fresh, she said, her eyes lighting up with enthusiasm. But that's the fun part. I'm embracing all of it. Notice how she views these adjustments as opportunities rather than obstacles. That's hardly the mindset of someone struggling to adapt.
I think the biggest benefit, obviously there's the aspect of having a new coach and a lot of new teammates. So in that regard, like, it's still a learning process and trying to figure your teammates out and figure out the new system. But the pace and the physicality and all of that, you're used to it, you're ready for it, you're ready for at the speed of how things are going to move. I think that having that under your belt is kind of what's helped me the most here. But at the same time, like, it's a learning process for all of us. There's, most of the team here and most of the girls here are new players. So and the ones that have come back, new coach, we're just trying to learn in the same way and build relationships with our teammates. So similar in that regard, but at the same time, having a year under my belt is really helpful.
What's particularly striking is how Caitlin Clark talks about her teammates. Throughout the interview, she maintains steady eye contact when mentioning specific players, leaning in slightly with genuine enthusiasm. Playing with Lexi Hall and Aaliyah Boston has been incredible, she shared, a natural smile spreading across her face. We're figuring out our chemistry on the court, but off the court, we already click so well. The ease with which she references her teammates, by first name, without any hesitation or formality, speaks volumes about the strong personal relationships she's already building.
I don't think anybody's trying to be alpha. Like, everybody's trying to be a good listener and be there for your teammates. It's how do you find the balance of doing both? How do you speak up and be a great leader, but at the same time, how do you listen and how do you get better? And I think it all speaks to, like, the relationships that you have with your teammates. Is like, you got to go out of your way to build those. So when something goes wrong or you have to hold somebody accountable, they know it's coming in the best interest of the team. So I think it just starts with building relationships, getting to know your teammates, but at the same time, we have so much great personality on this team. That's what's going to make it fun. That's what fans are going to love and to watch about us. We're going to have a lot of fun playing basketball, and you embrace that about your teammates as well.
This sense of camaraderie directly contradicts the divided locker room narrative that Swoopes tried to push. Clark comes across as fully integrated with the team, speaking with genuine enthusiasm about group activities and shared goals. We grab dinner together, we hang out. It makes coming to practice fun every day, she explained. When you genuinely like the people you're playing with, it makes everything better. Her body language throughout these comments is open and relaxed, shoulders at ease, occasional laughter. None of the tension you'd expect from someone feeling isolated or out of place.
The vibes are really good, and that's what's really fun about it. Like, obviously we're probably not in the heat of battle yet. I mean, we're out here competing with one another, but at the same time, like, everybody's here supporting one another and having fun and enjoying it. And I think that's what's cool about it.
Perhaps most revealing is Clark's perspective on the team's trajectory. Instead of fixating on individual accolades or immediate results, she shows remarkable patience and a long-term vision. We're building something that will last, Clark emphasized. The wins will come as we grow together. This mature outlook directly challenges Swoopes' suggestion that Clark would be frustrated by anything less than immediate domination. It's clear that Clark is focused on the bigger picture, not just quick success.
I used to playing basketball for basically a year of my life. That's all I did, so the rest was certainly great. And, I thought it was going to feel long. It really didn't. It felt really short. Like, we played a lot of pickup. We were in here all the time. I was in here with Keith all the time. Had teammates coming in and out all off season working with me and wanting to get better. So, like I said, I thought it would feel kind of long and drag a little bit, but it goes way quicker than you think. But that rest aspect for myself, just, you know, getting my body where it needed to be and really working on things that I needed to work on was super important, but I'm ready to compete again, so I'm excited.
When discussing game preparation, Clark displayed remarkable self-awareness about her development process. "I'm watching more film than I ever have," she admitted. "In college, you might rely more on talent, but here, the mental preparation makes all the difference." She went on to describe specific defensive schemes she's learning to navigate and offensive sets she's mastering. This detailed analysis highlights her commitment to professional growth and her understanding of what it takes to succeed at the highest level.
B has been tremendous. Like, she's such a selfless leader. Like, she's here to win. She says that, but she like really means it, and she leads in that example every single day. Like, we were just sitting over there talking after today, like just talking about practice and, you know, things we need to work on, things that went well, you know, things that, you know, everybody knows we have so much talent, but at the same time, like, you got to put that together. It's not going to be like, all right, you have all these great players, you step out on the court, it's going to work. Like, it's going to take a little bit of time to figure things out, figure out how everybody works with one another. So DB's been tremendous, and obviously, you know, not only as a leader, she's a tremendous basketball player too.
Despite the pressures of being the league's most scrutinized rookie, the joy Clark finds in the game itself is unmistakable. "At the end of the day, it's still basketball," she said, a genuine laugh in her voice. "Sometimes with all the attention. You can forget that. But when I'm on the court with my teammates, that's when I'm happiest." This perspective, finding joy in the process rather than obsessing over results, signals a player who's built for long-term success, not just fleeting moments of fame.
She knows what it is. So when she speaks, everybody listens. So I think that was a piece of the thing we were missing last year. Is like we didn't really have that inside of our locker room. So just really grateful for that. And, you know, just the way she talks and she leads, like, for me as a second-year point guard, like, I want to win for her. Like, this is the end of her career. Like, she deserves it.
Clark's focus on strength training, film study, team chemistry, and professional development paints a complete picture of a rookie committed to mastering every aspect of her craft. This comprehensive approach directly contradicts Swoopes' dismissive prediction about Clark's inability to adapt. While Swoopes looked for weaknesses, Clark has been systematically addressing them, turning potential limitations into strengths.
I love talking to you guys all the time, but there was a point where the line had to be drawn. So I'm glad to see you all back here, but it was nice to get away from everything and just kind of be able to live my life as a normal person, enjoy things that I love to do, you know, cook, bake, be outside, go watch other sporting events, like see my family, just like be Caitlin and enjoy things that I really enjoy. And don't get me wrong, like I loved basketball and, you know, having the spotlight and playing with my teammates, like that's one of the most fun things in the world. But at some point, like we had a great year, and eventually getting away from that was really healthy for me. But it came to a point where I was itching to get back in here after like a month. So I'm happy to be back at the same time.
Players can only thrive within systems designed for their success. And that's where Stephanie White enters the picture as the mastermind architect. When Swoopes suggested the Fever lacked direction, she clearly overlooked White's methodical approach, one that's quietly shaping one of the most promising young cores in the WNBA.
Emphasis is defense, really, and making sure that we understand the expectation on that end of the floor, and you know how we want to play, the physicality with which we want to play, the mindset, how we want to be on the defensive end of the floor, and then I think offensively, it's just, you know, being creative, you know, learning how to make plays. It's understanding that you can be in any position on the floor. That we want to be truly positionless, and then how do we put one another in positions to be successful? What actions benefit your teammates the best? And then learning how to play, making mistakes and self-correcting when we are making those mistakes in live action.
Coach White's basketball philosophy revolves around a three-pronged approach that gives this team its identity. "We want to be a defensive-minded team first," White explained in her recent media session. "Our defense creates our offense. This defensive foundation is the bedrock of everything the Fever are building." Far from the directionless team Swoopes described, White has put in place a detailed defensive system that takes full advantage of the unique physical attributes of players, like Aaliyah Boston and Lexi Hull. The second pillar of White's vision emphasizes creative offensive expression. "I want our players to play with freedom within structure," she said. "Basketball is a game of creativity, and I never want to stifle that." This balanced approach allows Clark's exceptional passing vision to thrive while still maintaining offensive discipline. It's a sophisticated system that directly contradicts any idea of strategic confusion within the organization.
It's the most talented roster I've been a part of. I've been a part of. You know, I wouldn't say in W history. There have been some pretty talented ones. You know, as far as the teams that I've coached in the W, it's the deepest, most talented roster that I've really been a part of. I mean, you know, we've had teams where we've had, you know, 2 or 3 that can really play, and then you surround them with a lot of great role players. But I think as far as, you know, you look at the depth of this roster and the opportunity to play with a lot of different lineups and play a lot of different.
What's particularly striking about White's approach is her commitment to positionless basketball, the third element of her philosophy. The modern game demands versatility, she explained. We're developing players who can defend multiple positions and attack from anywhere on the floor. This forward-thinking approach doesn't just position the Fever for immediate improvement, but for sustained success in a rapidly evolving league.
Teams, right? And the ability to hold one another accountable, to be held accountable, and yet give grace when we know that we're going through all these changes. I mean, we have 5 returning players, everybody else is new. We want to be able to give grace through our process of accountability, to understand that we're growing. Like, we're not anywhere near where we're going to be when it comes time for the playoffs, and every single day we've got to grow through some uncomfortable things. And so to hold one another accountable, to hold yourself accountable, to be held accountable, but also to give grace throughout this process and understand that we are learning as we go.
Coach White's leadership style reflects the maturity necessary to develop young talent. We have to give grace while holding each other accountable, White emphasized during a particularly revealing moment in her interview. This is a process. Her calm demeanor when discussing the team's growing pains suggests a coach who understands the developmental timeline needed for championship contention. A level of patience Swoopes apparently couldn't grasp when making her dismissive comments.
Winning is uncomfortable. It's hard. And so we have to get comfortable being uncomfortable. We have to be able to keep our focus on where we want to be, but also understand that it's not linear, right? That it's not linear.
White's assessment of the roster unveils another dimension missing from outside criticism. We have extraordinary depth at every position, she stated, leaning forward with unmistakable confidence. That creates healthy competition in practice, which accelerates development. Her methodical analysis of player combinations shows she's not just assembling talent. She's constructing a roster where skills complement each other strategically.
First and foremost, one of the things that I knew about her from afar, but just seeing it on a daily basis is the way she works. I mean, we talk about work ethic a lot, but work style is another thing. And she doesn't waste reps. She literally does embody the how you do anything is how you do everything, whether it's a ball handling drill or a shooting drill or setting screens. I mean, she approaches it with such a discipline that she doesn't waste time, and I appreciate that. And so it's been nice and refreshing being in the gym with her.
Perhaps most telling is White's process for building game rotations. We're tracking every practice rep, every scrimmage outcome, she explained. We're identifying not just individual strengths, but which 5-player combinations maximize our effectiveness. This data-driven approach to team construction reveals a level of organizational sophistication that completely contradicts Swoopes' characterization of the franchise. The value White places on veteran presence further undermines the narrative that established players avoid Indiana. Championship experience is invaluable, White emphasized. Veterans who've been there create the standard in practice that elevates everyone's game. The coach's body language while discussing roster construction, leaning in, gesturing confidently, maintaining steady eye contact, shows none of the uncertainty you'd expect from someone lacking strategic direction.
They don't know what they don't know, right? And nobody does. Life is a great learning experience for all of us. But having players who have been in here who have won championships, on the sideline and in the locker room with them. I mean, Tasha Howard's won 3. Certainly think of Sig Colson has won 2, and DB's won championships. Breon January and Karima Christmas have won championships. So having those players alongside her that can help guide and understand what it takes on a daily basis, what it takes on a play-to-play basis.
Throughout her interview, White exudes the quiet confidence of someone who knows exactly where this team is headed. There's no defensiveness when addressing criticisms, no overcompensation with empty promises, just the measured assurance of a coach with a comprehensive blueprint for building a contender.
DB is vocal. She might not say it in front of the masses, but she certainly is going to bring the team together and bring players off to the side and talk to them about what it takes, about the little things. She's experienced a lot of different things, whether it's been teammates, playing with some of the best in the world, franchises, coaches, all of those things. And so just having her wisdom, having her knowledge, and having her mama bear personality. I mean, it's so important because she understands, how to hold you accountable, but she understands how to love on you too.
When the dust settles, what we've witnessed through these interviews isn't just a rebuttal to baseless claims. It's the unveiling of a franchise transformation happening in real time. The evidence speaks volumes. A team genuinely excited about its direction, players who respect each other's talents, and a coach with a crystal clear vision for success. The 2025 Indiana Fever aren't just hoping to compete. They're building the foundation for something sustainable and special. From Mitchell's renewed commitment to Clark's professional growth, to White's strategic brilliance, there's an undeniable synergy taking shape in Indianapolis. Critics like Swoopes may continue their skepticism from the sidelines, but they'll eventually have to contend with what's becoming increasingly obvious. This Fever team is for real. If you stand with the Fever, comment "Fired up for the Fever" down below. Don't forget to like, subscribe, and turn on all notifications so you never miss out. Click the video on the screen, and we'll see you in the next one.